Aloha everyone, this is Z808 with another review of my Season 6 Apex Arena games. The season has been super challenging for a number of reasons. One, with the addition of Rosenseal's debuff, meta has been taking a hit. If used correctly, she's insanely strong. Second, SP Elwyn and SP Freya has arrived, and they are certainly incredibly game-changing as well. However, as always, the main reason I lost many of my games is due to my own mistakes. There's really no excuse for it. In addition, with all the new heroes, I've been fooling around with my box and end up forcing myself to play a style that I'm normally not comfortable with. This combination has led me to losing more games than I want. After many devastating losses, I finally picked up my sorry ass and went back to basics. Only then was I able to get to Go 1 and still have a long way to go to a Langrisser rank. Since my gameplay time is very limited, I hope to be able to reach that next week or maybe the following. Now, of course, I'm sure most of you are not here to hear me ramble on, but would like to see some actual fight footage. Today, I would like to share 6 games with you. Most of them are what to look out for to prevent making the same mistakes as I have. Now, the first 2 are regarding pick bans, so let's take a look. This is actually the very first game after from last week, where here I have bad pick ban, like it's really bad. What the issue was that I was stuck in a state of mind that I wanted to force my opponent or myself into a specific, I don't know, I guess either what you call play style or heroes that I want to use. But unfortunately, my opponent, even though banned SP Elwyn first, started banning my healers second. And for some odd reason, I saw that, but for some odd reason, I just didn't pick any healers. As odd as that is, especially if you're using Albedo as tank push, not having healers is extremely bad. Unless you have a very, very strong rush team to be able to eliminate your targets quickly so you don't need the healing. But unfortunately, I picked Betty, which it's totally dumb because Betty is reactive, same thing as Albedo, and I basically had to pick Jugler, which is the only option I have left to get a little bit healing outside of just having soldier healing. So if you look at the box right here, you can already see that unless my opponent doesn't know what the hell is going on, or it just makes so much mistakes, there's absolutely no way I can win. Too passive. So at the end, I tried to be a little more pick aggressive characters, but it just didn't work. Especially when they have so much healing here, and then SP Elwyn also has his own healing. With the tank, heals, AoE, single target, and especially the SP Elwyn can completely shut down Jugler. Yeah, I have absolutely no chance. So, first game that I want to highlight, I'm not even going to play the game because it's just so sad that if you're going to do tank push, slow tank push, especially with Albedo, pick a healer. Okay, so let's move on to game number 2. So game number 2 is also revolving around Albedo. So this one here is with Lord of Steel, another really strong player, and I named it Listell. Now the reason for that is if you have Albedo, most of us will be using Blood Pact to kind of counter SP Elwyn. However, that also means that Albedo is very vulnerable to heal reversal as well as fixed damage. Now, the opponent picked one tank which already is a big counter to Albedo. And I thought I would get smart and be able to rush him, but it's very difficult to AoE down Jugler. But most of my single target characters has been eliminated, and as you can see from my last couple units that I can use, I probably should have picked Jugler, but I picked Luna just to buff my princess team here. However, although Luna does have Bracer, the rest of my characters do not. So, and he, knowing that I'm trying AoE, well, and magic, he just like load up with the tankiness of it. So it's really sad. But if I am gonna show this game without explaining too much, but I think I guess the way that I did the approach is also completely out of whack. And with double tanked, it's really difficult to punch through. Single target, it's literally impossible to kill Albedo. Trust me. Single target, literally impossible. Especially when he have 2 healers. And with AoE, they have Jugler, can't do much. So just by looking at that, I really didn't have a win condition, unless again either my opponent have no idea what's going on, which is never the case. So I thought I'll try to force it and, you know, go in, but with Jugler healing everybody up, yeah, it's not getting anywhere. Even with the clock. And here I thought I was going to be able to maybe punch through Jugler. But boy, am I not even close. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. So, I mean, at this point, it's done. It's game over. There's nothing I can do already, because what's going to happen next is I'm going to be even more dumb and move Albedo in place to get Blood Dance, and it's GG. It's literally GG. Nothing I can do. Completely shut down. Yeah. Let's let the game play a little bit more, just to see how sad, how quickly my team's gonna die. And here I am killing my own team member because I got the reverso. So anyways, yeah, I don't want to look at it anymore. It just makes me want to cry. So anyways, if you are going to tank push with Albedo, and if you don't have all Swords with Metal characters or some type of fixed damage immune, please ban Listell. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Okay. Moving on. The next 2 are focusing on checking buff, debuffs, and dispels. So this particular game, I believe I should have 100% won. And actually, it's regarding me using Albedo. However, I lost because of my own mistake. Has nothing to do with anybody else, and I'll show you where the mistake is. So pick ban went pretty typical. I think both sides did their best to try to counter each other. And judging by both sides, you know, my opponent did have both AoE as well as single target characters. So me understanding that he banned Jugler, I went ahead and focused on banning their AoE character, with the exception of Bozo, which again, Bozo is a nightmare to deal with. But I did focus on banning assassins, banning AoE. I also picked, I believe, the right characters to counter, because I was able to pick up Tiaris, which, to be honest, is like, in this situation, I should have won the game because I picked Tiaris. One, because TRS is able to give me healing light to keep me alive, and my TRS also has the helmet, which prevents my tank from being stunned or losing the movement effect. So during this game, I think in the very beginning I messed up with losing. I believe I lost my Ares early. I can't remember exactly. Let's just see what happens. I think I did. I think I messed up with trying to secure a kill. So that was one mistake. But let's take a look. We both are kind of setting up on both sides. I wasn't afraid of SPL win with Albedo. And you'll see that he will do absolutely nothing to me. So this game actually sort of highlights how strong Albedo is against single target. Setting up. He's playing very, very cautious. Same thing here. I'm slowly moving forward. I move my TRs back because I was afraid that Bozo might come in and do some damage. And this is where I failed to kill right there. I was not able to secure the kill, unfortunately, and literally wasted my Ares because he moves first. Yep, and there goes my Ares. So I wasn't even able to take one life. Already, like, completely wasted my. See that if he took the first life, that would have been the second one right there, and he would have no tank, and it would have been GG. But unfortunately, Ares fell. One mostly due to my enchants, and well, he is a very strong Landius. What can I say? I play aggressively, and I hoping to hold the middle. Which actually I am going to be able to hold the middle. And at this point, if I hold the middle, I am not. He's not going to be able to punch through. Period. Because with Luna, yeah, with Luna and TRS, there's really not much he can do to me. Even with Bozo. However, now here is where I lost the game. Probably that earthquake, and I'll explain why. So here I thought I'll get smart and heal myself so I can get guarded. And what the hell? I just died. So what happened? What happened there? Why did my TRs die? Why did my TRs die? That right there. Mobility -2 cannot use guard skill. I did not check the debuffs. Stupid enough, right? Bozo AoE me twice. I didn't even bother to check my debuffs because I had that. If my TRS is back in the back, it would have been fine. But I moved her forward to give everybody healing light, but ending up getting her killed. Once TRS is killed, I still had a chance. However, I didn't, and you'll see why. I mean, at this point, she still can do some self-healing with the soldiers. He also have self-healing with soldiers, and he can buff each other. Luna will lessen the damage done. Yeah, and I'll explain why as we go in. But basically, I set up in the middle, and based on that, and I still had a little bit of healing light, so I was able to get back to full. But really, you know, if I had Tiaris and I held the middle, there's absolutely nothing he could have done. And as you can see here in the way that I position myself, that I'm gonna be able to completely block him off as well. So at this point, I thought I still had a chance, so I didn't give up yet. But we'll see why I'm going to lose the game in a second, even though basically he won't be able to single target me through. Yeah, it didn't matter. If you try to punch me single target, I'll just laugh at him. Same thing, SP Elwin would not do anything to me. And as long as I don't attack them, I won't take damage. So, and my other problem was that my Bozo AoE didn't clock, so I didn't have anything to kind of counter attack. But you know, unfortunately, that's where he went downhill. I mean, literally, it took my opponent took about a minute of thinking on how to do that move right there. So what happened there is that Rosenseal has a goddess left hand, and by using it on my Albedo, even though it did no damage, it did give me the mobility -2, and without TRs to remove it, there was nothing I can do. And once I lost Bozo, now I can't block him off from the center. The fog was closing in. I mean, if I blocked the center, he would have all died and I would have easily won. Especially I was winning. Well, I don't know if the damage count would have really mattered. But yeah, so I lost this game because one, I did not check the debuffs on my tank and move my healer in right and gave her away. And once at that point, because I didn't have, and then I started checking my debuffs, but it didn't matter at that point because I didn't have any way to counter Goddess Left Hand, and possibly Bozo giving me that debuff as well. I mean, maybe even Weiler having that another Goddess Left Hand as well. So unfortunate. So game was GG. Okay. And the next game is also on checking on not only buffs and debuffs, but there was one big mistake. I should have totally won this one as well. At least I felt I should have, but I lost due to dispel. Now, what does that mean? Well, there's two mistakes I actually did in this one here. The pick ban, judging by this box, if you see Akka, you already know it's a rush box. So I'm not going to explain too much on this, but I should have banned Akka instead of Jugler. However, both is just as bad, especially with I'm using Albedo. So if I gave them Jugler, he could have locked down my Albedo, but if I gave him, I believe he picks Akka on a little bit. I should have banned Akka a second instead of banning Listell and Illustrio. However, Illustrio in this map is also extremely dangerous. So I had to sort of just try to get rid of all his long-range characters, but unfortunately, ARCK, his box is just super long leg. I mean, at this point, I should have still banned Akka, but I don't know why I didn't. It's just me being stupid, I guess. I mean, too much overpowered units. I don't know how to deal with it. However, at the end of the pick ban, oh no, I did ban Akka on this one. Sorry, that was a different game. But this one here, I think he ended up with SP Elwin. I should have won this game, but there was one. Well, there's two mistakes. And of course, I lost mostly due to those mistakes, and then also from RNG from Reen, which there's nothing you can do with RNG. But I'll show you where the mistake is. And I actually had the advantage in the very beginning because I'm player 1, and I do have, he has no healers, but with me having Zarita and Liana actually have very, very strong initiative advantage. So up until that point where I have the advantage, it went pretty well. Especially I got that breeze. So with that breeze, I'm 100% able to assassinate the Zarita. From here or here. So there's no, and he only has one character left, so he can't block both spaces. So 100% I can kill off the Zarita. And here is my, so up until this point I was very confident that I was gonna have a very good chance, excellent chance. Kill off the Zarita, and once Zarita is dead, all his single target wouldn't do much, even though he does have a lot of AoE. But I had strong Bozo as well as a lot of dispel, so I felt confident that I can deal with it. And he has no healers too, so that not gonna do much. Oh, that clock, that was bad RNG on for me. But here's the first mistake. So in order to counter Reen, that's why I used the Sky Archer. But I was thinking, he already used that, so I don't think his 1 AoE is going to be able to kill my Sky Archer. So I brought her here. Instead of what I normally always do is put him in the very back, away from everybody. But me being, I don't know, just a bad player, that was my first mistake, and you'll see why. First mistake is moving my Sky Archer in the wrong position. And here comes super strong AE and completely destroyed my angel. Which is okay, I have a lot of healing, I was feeling confident, I have sleep, so I can. It's actually, he positioned very badly. The sleep actually went, and I clocked, which gave me the opportunity to kill off his from the his name escapes me. Arian Rod in the fog. And of course, I have 2 range guard, and why the hell did my Liana die? I had 2 range guard, and why the hell did my Liana die? And that's where I lost the game. That's where I lost the game. One, because I lost my angel and I lost my Liana. So what happened? So what happened was, when Arian Rod did her 3C, even though I have all these buffs, but she did dispel one of the most important buffs, which was the 2 range guard. And for some, Albedo actually have a talent to have a whole ring around her. So if I put Liana anywhere up here or stay where she at, would have been perfectly fine. But for stupid reason, I moved her without checking what I got dispelled into, the range, and then it was GG. So even with all these clocks, sleep and everything, the game came pretty close if you keep watching, but this is where the RNG came into fact. Got silence and couldn't recover from there because the silence is 2 rounds, and I was able to kill off Arian Rod in the fog. I was hoping to do the same for Elwyn, but Elwyn does have unicorn, so because he killed off my healer here, she was using AoE, he can escape. I did get good RNG in a sense where I did get a debuff on him, so now he can't move and he's stuck in the fog, and he did end up dying. But I have no heals. I think I was heal blocked. No, I have these right here that there's no way for me to remove, and it's 2 turns, and I have a heal block. I can't get my soldiers back. I have no AoEs. I don't think I have any AoEs left, and her, she have 0 kill potential, and it's only round 5. So basically, with them being able, so high mobile, running around, both characters being able AoE and not single target, it was GG. So basically, I lost because of one mistake where I mispositioned my angel, and 2, I did not check my dispel. So yeah, my Bozo was stuck in the other NG where he had these mobility debuffs. So he should have been able to move 3 spaces, but because of this, he couldn't even move on the mountain for the life of him, unfortunately. So yeah. So double check your buffs, debuffs, and if you get dispelled, what was dispelled. Okay, so that's the 4th game here. The last 2 games we are going to look at is using the right skills as well as picking the correct soldiers. Now I'm going to show one where, hold on, here against Kindred, which I'm not gonna go so much in the pick ban because I felt the pick ban was on this one was pretty straightforward. However, he banning that. Okay, so actually no. Let me take a step back. Him banning my Betty kind of automatically told me that he's going for AOE strategy, right? At least that's what you figured. AOE, 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 especially with this character here, right? AOE, 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 AOE. These are enablers here, right here. So automatically, my thought process was, okay, pick Jugler. That would be no issues. However, this player is really good, and unfortunately for me, I think I fooled myself more than anything. But I did starting banning as many dangerous AoEs that I thought was the right choice. However, with Akka and Ares, he basically can go across the whole map. So I then, I thought he was still going with AoE, so I started banning, more AoE and stronger enablers. And also pick my own Ares so that I can counter attack because he has no tank. But of course, I'm still being out-aged, right? Because I don't have Akka. And this map, there's water in the middle. I can't really use. I can't really use Luna to sort of cheat with Ares using horses and go all the way across the screen, for example. But positioning was really bad. But I think basically it was literally in turn 1 I lost already. And let's take a look at what I'm talking about. So typically, right, use Triton, stay back, hand back. I even try special tech by using Luna and using defense command. But for some reason I did not bring, because I thought it was going to be AoE. So, but if you look at my opponent, single target, and of course full support. And when I saw what skills he brought, I was like, oh no, this is going to be bad. And it was bad. I also left my Bozo there. If I moved him back, that would have also won me the game. Bad positioning, but that's because of him. And this is why I lost. Here comes Ares with Noble Charge 2012 attack by Jugler. So, I mean, very strong Ares indeed, with Akka even stronger. And my bad positioning, if having Bozo here, if my Bozo was back here, he wouldn't have pulled and he wouldn't have taken damage. Right? I try to recover by killing off his Ares, but at this point, without a tank, it wouldn't have mattered because he has way too many single target characters, very long reach. Especially with Luna. Luna is 5+3 and a single target and have no tank can finish everyone. And because my Bozo was already hurt, yeah, I lost him right here. If I was able to not have my Bozo killed, then I think I had a very good chance of winning as well. But unfortunately now is already 4 against 3, super high mobility. There was really not much I can do. So what could have prevented, I believe, at least I had a good chance of prevented of me losing, is that because I already know he's going to be rushing, what I should have done instead of using Triton is using my jump right in place, because the jump would give me way more buffs, and then the chance of him dispelling both my defense buff as well as my water buff would have been significantly less. And if Jugler lived, yeah, I mean, didn't matter. I would have 99% won this game. Anyways, using the correct skill when evaluating what your opponent's win condition is extremely important. So moving on to the sixth game is more on a mistake on my part on the not being careful on the selection of so I put RNG Ares, but it's not so much RNG versus where it was a mistake. So so what basically, I'm gonna skip pick ban on this one. So what basically happened is that my opponent has a very specific build and has Zarita but has SP Elwyn, which I have Jugler to counter, and I actually also have Ares, which even though it's a Bracer Elwyn, I do have the ability to kill him off most of the time. But we're gonna take a look at what happened here. So we're both slowly moving into the playing field, and there's gonna be a specific moment in time where I thought, I was like, okay, I have a pretty good chance. So let's see where that is. And what's even more sad is I even have a faction buff for my Ares, which normally you would think that with additional, attack, I'll be able to do what he needs to do, right? At least that's what I thought. But and I'll point out a couple things when we get to that point. But moving slightly forward, he's staying back. I know what my limitations are. I know he knows what his limitations are, so he's kind of hanging back. I'm getting myself set up so that my team can't be debuffed. And at this moment, right there, did you see that? Did you see that? I was like, oh my god, I just hit the lottery, right? Because before this happened, my Ares is this plus 1, 2, 3, 4 cannot reach his Elwyn, and of course won't do anything here. However, with this, now my Ares is able to reach his Elwyn. So let's take a look at my buffs. So I have faction buff, and even so, initial is increased by 12%, and it dispels one buff from the enemy. So I was pretty confident that, and my skill also, dispels 3 buffs. So that's basically 4 buffs that I should be able to debuff from him, right? He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 buffs, a lot of attack, and let's see what happens next. And Ares is gonna come and save the day and win me the game. Go in, boom, dispel 4 buffs, and what the frick just happened? What the frick just happened? I couldn't kill him. How is that possible? How is that possible? It's possible because I didn't dispel the most important one. But most importantly, I didn't kill him with 100. Well, not the 120. It's actually a little more, because if you look at my soldiers, I was using angels. Angels suck for single target, right? I have the other flyers. I had the wing flyers, and I was using angel for an AoE strategy that I did win the game prior to this, but I did not change my soldier. Honestly, I mean, I know there was some RNG involved that I didn't debuff his defense buff, which ended up, you know, being him a lot more tankier. But if I had that extra damage potential from my other soldier, I honestly believe I would have killed him. 1,400. That would have been guaranteed killed. Guaranteed kill. But because of that, now I lost Ares, and he has 5 against 4. And towards the end, I got pretty close. I thought I was going to be able to lock him down. But unfortunately, I just don't have the kill potential anymore with this team. Because this is AoE, and 1. But and keep in mind that Jugler doesn't guard against magic. Even though his delete was not able to kill any of my characters until the very end, it didn't really matter because he did have Zarita to basically snipe my characters. Plus delete, plus Elwyn, it was just overwhelming. So yes, so the mistake is that if you're going to pick a specific strategy, which I knew what I was doing, at least I thought I knew what I was doing, to use single target on Ares, make sure you look at your character and not only check your skills, but also check your soldiers. Okay. Now, losing sucks. I mean, it was so devastating. However, it is an opportunity to learn from it. As long as we get stronger and better and not repeat the same mistakes, we have a chance to do even better. I want to end today's review with one last game highlighting a very special VIP. And that VIP is, I think, one of the only matches out of all the 40 or 40 games I played that that I was able to use her, and it is Yulia. And why is Yulia so special? Because if you look at my opponent's box, he actually has 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the toward as season 6 gets a little later in the Chinese server, I believe the 4 tank is the way to go. And he has 4 tanks and a lot of healers. 1, 2, 3, 4 healers. 4 healer, 4 tank box. Very difficult to deal with. And I believe the pick ban ended up with him having a multiple tanks. And so, you know, he's able, because he has so many tank healers, he's able to basically either pick Zarita first or Ares first, or even Yulia first or delete first, whoever he wants as DPS, right? So I start banning the characters I don't want to deal with, like the AoE characters, especially when I'm using Albedo. He did use Yulia to hopefully to lock me down. And I was still thinking to myself, is like, how am I gonna deal with this? Because I'm not even sure how to break through with him having so many tanks. So I had to think of some way to kind of deal with both Zarita and Yulia, and oh man, he's like picking double tanks already. So it's like, how do I deal with this? Like, what would you have done? 3 tanks? I mean, come on. I have like no damage potential from Albedo. Luna is right? She hits like a wet noodle. No way you're gonna be able to punch through their Albedo. If I AoE them, he will just heal back up with with Jugler. He can assassinate me. Like, how do you win this? He has no healer though. I mean, that's the only thing, right? The only thing I think I did right. I don't know why in the pick ban is he has no real healer aside, you know, Jugler, but he does have some healing with Yulia available. So, you know, how do you deal with that? I slowly inch up. He has no fear. Continue to move up. I'm setting up Zarita to make the kill. And so this is, oh, and yeah, this is where I got smart. At least I think I was trying to be smart. And I think what happened here most likely was my opponent's first mistake. So why is that a mistake is that he wanted to lock down my Yulia. So instead of jumping here and locking down my tank and Luna, he just locked down Yulia. So I think that was the first mistake that he made. And here comes the second mistake. Trying to kill Luna. And if many of you are familiar with my box, my Luna is very tanky. Especially when I'm using my special tech with defense command. I do have bracers, so backstab doesn't do anything. I do have faction buff. Plus, I am on a city wall to give me an additional 30% defense. So even though he's skipping my soldiers and directly hitting my Luna, that with this much defense, I was able to survive. So that was his second mistake. Okay, now here's the fun stuff. So here I go, debuffed him a little bit. And so that's the other important part is the positioning. Is that Jugler was down here, so that gave me the opportunity to AoE his whole team without hitting Jugler, so that he didn't get the heals. So that again, the positioning on that was literal. So now he got smart. He's like, hey, I'm gonna lock both your Luna and your Albedo down now, so that you can't guard, and I'm gonna try to do something. But it's a little too late, and here is why. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Why is that beautiful? Why is that beautiful? Look at the positioning of this right here. Look at the positioning. This is Zarita, right? Already used the ignore guard skill. Of course, my Luna didn't matter. I mean, he could have tried to heal me. I wasn't scared because I have healing incoming. Albedo cannot guard, cannot move. Langrisser cannot guard, cannot move. Jugler is too far away to guard Zarita. So that means the next turn, my Yulia will be able to kill Zarita if I wanted to. And of course, you try to retaliate with Yulia without having any faction buff. It's not going to do anything to me. And at this point, because I can, I'm going to AoE again to weaken him. And that AoE was strong enough to actually kill off Albedo. Plus, I was able to silence Yulia. So basically, silence, can't move, no skills. I mean, she's completely shut down. Langrisser completely shut down. Jugler too far. Yulia kills off Zarita. I mean, after that, there's really no kill potential for him to do anything to me when I still have my entire team. So, yes, Yulia, one move, right? Positioning mistake by my opponent, of course, but Yulia, because I had Yulia, I was able to completely shut down their team and won me the game. So, we did end up with a really good note here and not just me losing like all my games. Alright, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed the review today. As always, please share your thoughts in the comment area below. If you enjoy my videos, I would really appreciate that you don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. This way, as new contents are available, you can be the first to check it out. Right now, I'm focusing on Apex and PvP. Also hope to maybe provide some PvE content as well. With that said, enjoy the rest of your wonderful weekend, and until next time, aloha.